6 days before the Passover, Jesus came to Bethany, the home of Lazarus, whom he had raised from the dead. There they gave a dinner for him. Martha served, and Lazarus was one of those at the table with him. Mary took a pound of costly perfume made of pure nard, anointed Jesus' feet, and wiped them with her hair. The house was filled with the fragrance of the perfume. But Judas Iscariot, one of his disciples, the one who was about to betray him, said, "Why was this perfume not sold for 300 denarii, and the money given to the poor?" He said this not because he cared about the poor, but because he was a thief. He kept the common purse and used to steal what was put into it. Jesus said, "Leave her alone. She bought it so that she might keep it for the day of my burial. You always have the poor with you, but you do not always have me." When the great crowd learned that he was there, they came not only because of Jesus, but also to see Lazarus, whom he had raised from the dead. So the chief priests planned to put Lazarus to death as well, since it was on account of him that many of the Jews were deserting and were believing in Jesus. The Passover is nearly upon them, the day when Jesus' people celebrate that their God shielded them from death, delivered them from slavery. They will travel to Jerusalem. A lamb will be offered. But today, Martha throws a dinner for her friend. Her brother, whom Jesus raised from the dead, sits at the table with them. Many have come to Jesus because of him. Their sister Mary anoints his feet, the place at which she has often sat, learning from him. Perhaps she has watched him smear mud and saliva on eyes and ears and tongues, anoint the sick for healing, and understood. Maybe she has done this before, anointed others, parents or grandparents or friends, for death. Maybe she anointed her own brother when he was sick, when he was buried, only to receive him back into her arms. Maybe she has been listening, heart on fire, as Jesus taught her about the scriptures, the old stories, where they anointed kings, set them apart to rule over the people, the symbols of God's presence, smeared with oil, the symbol of God's abundance, the overflowing cup of blessing which never runs dry, which stays on your skin and hair and clothes, the fragrance lingering. Mary knows they anointed Elisha to be a prophet, that he tarried only to eat a last meal with his family before he went to meet his fate, that through him God performed a miracle, oil that would not stop flowing, the sign of God's generosity to the poor. Mary knows that they poured oil over the heads of the priests, dedicating them to the work of the Lord. She knows they anointed places, a rock where their ancestor Jacob saw heaven open. Surely God was in this place, and I had no clue. The altar, the Ark of the Covenant, the tabernacle. They anointed the dwelling places of God, the places where heaven and earth meet, and the person in whom they meet, full of purpose, full of grace. So Mary anoints the Messiah, the chosen one, sent to save the people. She has heard him speak of his death, that he must be given over to death, that he must be raised again. Perhaps she has a feeling that this is the last time she will see him before he tastes death for them all. Perhaps she had meant to wait until afterwards, to stumble blindly to where they have buried him, but her devotion overwhelms her. It is your relatives who anoint you for death. Jesus has brought Mary back together with her sister and her brother in heart and in flesh. She has become his sister. He, her elder brother, she wants to do this for him while she has him. To pour out her love, pour out her worship. So she seizes the moment, not certain if she will ever see him again, if all he has promised will come true, if one day they will laugh about this. He has been walking in the dust, the same dust from which he called humans on the 6th day. She pours the essential oil over him. She beautifies the feet that will soon be nailed to a cross. The perfume is expensive, but she does what she can for him. And the whole house is full of the fragrance, of the anointing of their prophet, their priest, their king. We enter this Holy Week knowing that the end is inevitable, knowing that this is what must happen, knowing that it is for our love that Jesus willingly walks towards his death. What can we do but worship him? What can we do but pour out our praise, lavish upon him our devotion? There is no person more worthy, no place more holy. This is the Anointed One, the Christ, the meeting of heaven and earth. The Passover is nearly upon them, the day when Jesus' people celebrate that their God shielded them from death, delivered them from slavery. They will travel to Jerusalem. A lamb will be offered. His friends will lose him for a little while. And because of that, we will always have him, our prophet, our priest, our king.